Let me tell you, it's not true, especially if we're talking to the over 50 crowd here. That
Yeah.
is not what a woman wants. Thanks so much for tuning in again to Second Act TV. Once again, I want to welcome back Joni Caldwell Lerner, the motivational coach and podcast host of Wake Up with Joni. We're going to do that today. Joni, thanks for being here again.
Oh, thank you. Looking forward to it.
Well, we have I think, an interesting topic, and hopefully it's something that will resonate, make an interesting conversation anyway. What do women look for in a man? Clarify the 8 myths that we're going to debunk. Okay. At first, I thought it was a little ridiculous, but then I thought, this is worth talking about. Does this exist? And I say still, because this is, again, written by a younger woman. This is for younger women or for younger men. I mean, a younger audience. Yet what comes through here, in my opinion, is a very old-fashioned way of thinking. So anyway, let's you determine what is true or not, what rings true or not. Women want an extremely muscular man. That anybody who's muscular has a head up on any other kind of man, and that does come across in the comments when the online dating stuff comes up.
All right. So guys, if you've got somebody over 50 or 60 years old and they need you to have a 6-pack, that's a little shallow. Okay. I'm just saying, not my thing. How many hours is that person putting in on their bodies in front of a mirror? I mean, there's this whole.
Exactly.
So I don't think, guys, if you're attracting these women who are saying, well, you're not, fit enough or muscular enough,
I don't think any women are saying that. That's what I'm saying. I think this is the way I'm reading this article.
We're busting the myth.
That men believe,
but they do believe that men do believe it. That's we're saying, what's so incredulous.
Right. And from the women's perspective, it's not true. I go with what you just said. Somebody who's just super muscular, it's like, what, okay. Why? How much time what do you give up food? Why? I'm not talking about being fit. Yes, I definitely want my guys to be fit. Huge difference, fitness and muscular.
Well, since we are in this age bracket, the truth is, fitness is different. Are they taking care of themselves? Are they eating properly? Are they drinking too much?
Right.
What are they doing? Because what they're doing to their bodies, well, then if I fall in love with this man, I'm now in this for life. And if he's not taking care of his body, I'm now going to be his nurse someday. That affects me. I want him well. I want him to be able to live his life, and I want to be able to live life with him.
Right.
So that's what I would say. Now, if somebody's out there and they have an ailment, they have a chronic disease or whatever it is, it's still possible to live a very, very, very alive life.
Absolutely.
And take care of yourself as best you can.
Yeah. But throw on the idea of muscles. Yeah, that's not, we busted that, I think. Okay, here's another one. Women want the most manly version of a man. Well, that can be, again, or interpreted so many different ways. Do men, or this is the implication here, that some men will not do anything that they could possibly be perceived of as not being manly, because that would turn a woman off?
Oh, like being feeling like speaking your words of truth, like I really care about you and you matter to me and I love you. Those will be considered unmanly. So yeah, I'm busting this myth completely. I want a man to be in his masculine energy. Yes, I don't want a doormat. I don't want a weakling. I'm not intimidated by any of that. I want somebody to match my energy. So I'm thinking of my pickleball crew, right? They're men. They are men, but they are kind and they are considerate, and it's hard to describe, but every single one of them is completely different. There's not one person on there that I would go, oh,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, if you even have that thought, and we don't have to spend that much time on this point because it is kind of ridiculous at this, especially at this age. I think, again, leave us your comments. But if you as a man are thinking, oh, this isn't manly, I can't do that, then you need to understand why you feel that way.
Yeah, it could be
Because
as innocuous or as little as, I'm not going to have a massage. I'm not going to
yeah,
have
yes,
self-care
or have
because that's not
my
manly.
yeah, or well, I'm not gonna have a pedicure. Well, sometimes now if I'm really honest, sometimes when it goes in that direction, I kind of go, really? And I would slap myself because you should be able to have a pedicure. But
I
you
love
know,
a man with a pedicured toe, even their fingers, but
so no wonder men think that what I just said. But yeah, they're
no wonder they're confused.
no wonder they're confused. But what does it? I guess it goes down to what to each of us, to women, what do we think is manly? What does the man think? So, and it's almost even, don't even think about it. Just be yourself is what it comes down to.
Get out of your head thinking about what I should or shouldn't do. That don't should on yourself.
Right.
Get out of your head. Be you.
Mm-hmm.
Be your
Yeah.
authentic self.
Be you, because if they don't like you for you, then it's not going to
Then
go
don't
anywhere
waste your
anyway.
time,
So
because
don't waste
eventually
your
they'll
time.
figure out who you are anyway.
Exactly. Here, this one you mentioned several times already, that women want a man, or they find a lack of emotion attractive. So men should never show their emotions, because then we're attracted to
Oh,
them. I mean, this is so stupid. Isn't it
it
stupid?
well, yeah. I mean, but
I
there
mean,
has to be. Yes, it's stupid. So there has to be a seed or a kernel or some. There must be some woman out there somewhere. So for example, some of the comments are, women are just gold diggers and they want men
mm-hmm,
with money. Okay,
mm-hmm,
so the gold diggers, and there are gold diggers out there, absolutely, I'm not saying they're not, but the gold diggers are usually ones who don't want emotional intimacy.
mm-hmm.
And so the men who have spent their whole lives building empires and accruing money and stuff have not
Right.
been focusing on relationships. So that's just
Mm-hmm,
fine for her. So there's a
mm-hmm.
there's a there's a lot of dynamic going on there.
Great point.
Yeah.
Really great
So
point.
so for her, a lack of emotions probably is attractive, because then she doesn't have to show up as a
Mm-hmm,
vulnerable whole human being. She can just dig
mm-hmm.
her gold,
Yeah.
and he can just keep making his gold, and God bless them, right? That's usually not the people who are on this channel looking to better themselves, looking to find connection and depth and healing. On no planet that I have ever lived would that be a truth,
Ah, I know.
that we don't want them to have emotions.
Yeah.
And in fact, cry every
Yeah.
now and then if you need to.
Yeah.
Release that. Stop
Yeah.
walking around thinking you have to hold the world on your shoulders. We don't want that.
Yeah. We do. You have to laugh again. Let me confuse the heck out of you again. We had a conversation talking about pickleball. Sat down. It was Paul and myself and three other guys, and somehow the idea something came up about it was The Bachelor. Like Gary, he was constantly crying. We were laughing about it, and then one of the guys said something. But no, wait a minute. I get kind of teary eyed sometimes at commercials, and well, next thing you know, they just jumped on him about, oh, well,
Oh,
we're not going to invite you over to Super Bowl party when the Clydesdales are on. I mean, it was funny. It was really funny. But
but it also confronted them.
yeah,
His ability to do that was confronting to them. And so how did they react in their masculine? I'm going to,
yes, it
yeah.
was
What a
so
great
interesting.
example.
It was so interesting. Well, here's another one that, yeah, throw this out the window, at least. And you know what? There may be women that disagree with me here. I don't know. But a man who treats her like a princess, that we want men to treat us like a princess. No, for me.
All
I
right.
mean,
Well,
that,
okay. So a princess in and of itself says that she has no power. She needs to be taken care of. She's not in her full power as a queen.
I love that.
You want to
Yes.
treat me as a queen? Fine. I will revere you as a king. Think of that. If I'm in my
Yeah.
sovereignty and he's in his sovereignty, that's a powerful union. But if he's the king and he's treating her as the princess,
Princess.
that's a rung down. And now defining that, one might think that, oh, he just treats me really well, or he takes care of me, or what have you.
Yeah, the whole princess thing, and I still hear that every now and then. Oh my goodness, I'm going to treat her like a princess. You treat her like a princess, and this somewhat said in jest, but men who are just starting to date somebody else again, and I'm thinking, what does that mean? If you're constantly being spoiled, that just would run. I mean.
Okay. And another piece of that is, if the man is spoiling her, he may not think that who he is enough. He has to hook her in that way, or provide for her things. Then she becomes dependent on the things and not having the emotional connection. I mean, maybe she'll fall in love with him, absolutely. But there is a power play in there. It's I mean, maybe not so subtle.
What I always love about talking with you, these silly articles that prompt thought. We can dig so deep on you, every single one of these. But anyway, I brought my shovel. Women do not we don't want to be treated like a princess.
We're so not anybody made of glass, out there,
anybody that wants to disagree with me, I'd love to hear it. I mean that. I mean that. If there's a point I'm missing here, for me, for Silka, no, please don't treat me like a princess.
Treat me well. Respect me, well, treat me like a queen.
Totally different thing. Exactly. This one, women need a man and want a man who is well endowed. Now we know that still is provocated
a
today.
Myth. That is still a myth.
But it's still a myth. And yet, the media, I mean, I can see why some men would think that the big one is what women want. I'm looking straight in the camera here. Let me tell you, it's not true, especially if we're talking to the over 50 crowd here. That is not what a woman wants. And we have lots of really good segments on this about what the whole penis perception. But
so do you know what the average penis is, just out of curiosity? 4 or 5 inches, something like that?
Yeah, something like that. That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
And so in the movies, they show anywhere from 8 to 13 inches.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd be like, get that thing away from me. Okay.
Exactly.
Running in the other direction. I'm just telling you guys, as a woman.
It's true.
Because
it's true.
The housing down there isn't 8 to 13 inches. Okay. So that is not comfy. Not only that, and we've talked about this in all seriousness, lovemaking for over 60 in particular, but over 53, 55, somewhere in there, things start to really change for both parties.
Yes.
And we can do the best we can in terms of keeping things as supple and useful as possible. But there are so many other ways to make love.
Right.
So many other ways to connect. And it has nothing to do with a hard penis.
Yeah, exactly. We actually did a whole segment on that with Frank Wiegers about perception. So I'll link to that. To that. We don't have to talk about this anymore, but but
I want to.
Oh, you want to talk?
I want to say the word penis again.
That's so funny.
Such a good girl.
Okay, here's one you brought up too. That men think that that women want financial support. That's another, especially at this day and age. I'm surprised that this was even written. Financial support. No, we want Silka wants a man who is self-sufficient. He doesn't have to support me. I mean, that is that's something we as women have worked for so long, to be independent. I don't want to be financially, dependent on someone. Now, I totally understand that there are women out there, like we already talked about, that do that. And there's the reasons for it are all over the board. But is that an innate thing a woman wants?
There are women out there who have suffered for decades, either where they came from, what happened to them, their lack of education, whatever it is, and blessings be upon them. Seriously, my heart goes to them. Maybe they do want to be taken care of. I mean, and in a way, I hope that happens, where it is a beautiful partnership in that way. And he wants to be able to take care of her, right? That's a beautiful thing. But no, not all women want to be taken care of.
Financially supported, yes, I would say.
Exactly. Financially supported.
Lastly, the point here, long-term relationships. Everybody wants to be in a long-term relationship or get married.
Okay, so you're saying that the myth is that all women want a relationship and want to get married.
Yeah, that the
Okay.
men, yeah, that the men is,
Yeah.
oh God, I'm not
Men
going to
think
start
that.
dating because I'm not getting into another relationship, because that's all the woman
Yeah.
wants. Of course, all women want to get married.
It is a myth that all women want a relationship or marriage. Period. Let's just start with that. Then men out there, since we're talking to you guys, be very clear on your online dating site what it is you actually want. Do not put on there, guys, for example, that you want a relationship or a long-term relationship. If you don't, be honest. And ladies, if you really want a long-term relationship, say that. Or if you don't, say that. And I was very clear up front when I started dating. I would just say, I'm just dating right now. I just came out of a very long marriage. I am not looking for, I was clear. I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm not looking for, and I had guys get really upset about it. They're like, well, what are you doing on here? I'm dating. I'm trying to figure out who I am in the world as a 57-year-old woman who is suddenly in a whole new life. It's like it was like the witness protection program. Everything I had known to that point was gone. The husband, the marriage, the family, the house, all of it gone.
Well, and you did the right thing. You said that up front, which is what we say. If you're not ready to date, people, I mean, you shouldn't be out there. That's right. But you were ready to date. You're just not ready to get into a relationship. And as long as you're clear about that, it's about having fun. Dating should be a fun sport. Robert says that all the time. I agree with it. It should be.
I call it an adventure. I call it an adventure. And I'll tell you, I only dated for 6 months. I thought I would be out there for 3 years, and I was traveling the world with Fox Studios at the time doing their leadership programs. So I was having a blast. I did not need or want a relationship, nor did I have a lifestyle that was conducive to that. And then along came John and blew my whole world apart.
Yeah. Well, and one other point on this topic is there's actually research and studies and surveys and all kinds of stuff done on this topic where women really, older women, I'm talking, older women like us, the 55 over, they don't want a relation or necessarily live with somebody again. There's whole different classifications of relationships,
especially women of means.
Yes.
Right. So they have their own houses. They don't want, and they're set in their ways.
Don't assume that that's something that every woman wants, or don't date because, you're going to lose your freedom at some point.
All right. So you just said something and I'm going to say something back. Ready? You said, don't assume.
Yes.
Absolutely. Make no assumptions, folks. Do not assume. Ask questions.
Yeah.
It's one of the 4 agreements. Do not make assumptions. Ask questions. The other one is be impeccable with your word. Speak your truth and don't be mean to you. I'll come and get you if you do.
Well, I was just going to ask you if you had anything else to add, but I think you just did.
I just did.
Great way to end our segment. Joni, thank you so much. I always love having you on here. We never know where our conversations are going to go. So I look forward to our comments today, because this is it's a touchy one. So I will link to all of your information. If anything resonated with you here, you want more clarification, contact Joni, leave your comments. We will be answering those as well. Joni's a fabulous coach. So all of her information is in the show notes. We have a link, the Calendly, easy for me to say, link just for the second act viewers. And of course, your podcast, Wake Up with Joni. Love it. And I look forward to our next conversation on Second Act TV.